And we're live, but where's the intro?
Dun, 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 dun. No, that's not a good intro.
That's not it.
That's not our
Uh,
intro at all.
yeah, Bruce and Better podcast. Anyway, we are live, man. I
Yeah,
don't know. Y'all see what happens when Rob not here, but it's all good.
the host didn't give us the board, but he's out having a great time. So enjoy your night, man. We're gonna hold it down. We'll be all right. We
Is
just
that
won't
what
have
he's
the
doing?
special effects. Yeah, he's having a good time, right? I
Okay,
hope
so
he's
I'll go
having
ahead
a
and
good
take the
time.
spot. What up? What up? What up? What up?
Hey, hey, hey! How y'all doing? Bink, 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 bink.
This is Bruce and Better podcast.
Venus flytrap.
Episode episode 185. This is your boy. I am 302 Yoda, and with me as always, not with me as always, but
I was gone 1 week.
But I'm just saying, like I can't say with me as always because I'm not the host. I'm
Ah.
always the person that.
I understand. I thought you were being a host.
Yeah, but I'm not like necessarily the host. I was just trying to mock what Robert does.
Okay. So you're mocking him and not being the host.
Because I can't mock him and say the right stuff because then when I come back, I'm still just the Legendary Brew Crew member. I can't say with me as always is the Legendary Brew Crew.
So, but like last week,
we are the Legendary Brew Crew.
Right. But now you're a co-host of the show for the day. Sure. So you both.
Sure.
Now we could always say Rob is not the only host of the show.
That is true.
But Rob is not a member of the Legendary Brew Crew.
Right.
Or is he?
This is confusing.
Right. Let's just start the show.
Yeah, but anyway, we're on now. But of course, we have a great guest with us.
We do
today. And we're gonna go ahead and let her in now, y'all, because you don't see Rob here. This, but this is sad because let me tell you before I let her in though. This is sad because this shows you how much we don't do.
Yeah. We don't have no production credits.
No production credits, no sound effects. We don't have no music. We don't have nothing.
Well, we only have one board, and that board is with our fearless leader. And our fearless leader is not here today, so we're gonna wing it. Yeah, we'll be fine. The board ain't that in depth. The board say burn, 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 and it clap a little bit. I could at least clap, and I just did the horns.
That's fun though.
It is the crickets and everything, but
right. But either way, we do have a special guest here, and we're gonna bring her in. We're gonna bring her on in, and we have Miss April Dove.
Hey,
welcome.
The CommUnity. Okay, I had to say it like that because unity is the biggest part of the community.
Got you.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was purposely done. But we would like to welcome you to the show, and I'll go ahead and give it a clap because we don't have any soundboard. So it's real quiet today. Yay. Golf clap. Okay.
Happy to have you, April. Happy to have you, with or without the board.
Happy to be here for sure.
Right, with or without the board. Golf clap is always nice. I mean, they enjoy that golf, so we can enjoy it here. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I love it.
But before we get into everything, we do like to find out what everyone's drinking, and so we're going to start with April. If you're drinking something, let us know. If you're not, let us know, even if it's H2O.
Yeah, so I'm drinking my 5th installment of the CommUnity. We had our anniversary party yesterday. It's a coffee blonde stout made with cocoa nibs and Peruvian coffee. So it's got a little bit of coffee forward, a little bit of caramel and toffee backgrounds. Really good, really light. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay,
oh, yeah, that's great.
What's the ABV?
ABV is 7.2.
And you said this is the 3rd edition of it? The 5th, I'm sorry, the 5th. Yeah. Is it always been a stout?
No, every time it's different.
You can wait for that question.
I was just okay. You're right. It's not a random beer. It's actually her beer. You're right.
All right. So we'll get into that.
Yoda, what are you drinking on right now?
Well, what I got is from Dewey Beer Co. In Delaware. So shout out to Delaware. But this is the El Trono, which is a lager. But it's 4.5 alcohol by volume, so it's something real light for me to drink on. And it looks like a typical lager in a glass. I got it in my 17% drip glass, with Kamala Harris on it. You know, this is
I was
probably
going to ask which one it was.
yeah, this is probably the last time I saw her. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Lou, I'm sorry. I ain't seen her in a while. That's all. Definitely gets her. But this is this is pretty good though. I like it. I didn't think I was gonna like it because normally these little light beers and stuff be like, But this was pretty good. I like this one. It's really refreshing, nice and cold, and just crisp. Bow. So I will pass me another of these. I don't have But Lou,
yes,
Belgium.
Yes.
What are you drinking today?
Let me see here. It says here I'm drinking the Dope Toberfest. It is a Marzen by Crowns and Hops. That's what the
Crowns and Hops.
Nice.
Crowns and Hops, of course, is based out of Los Angeles, California. It is 5.6% alcohol by volume. It had a heavy head on it in the beginning. This is what it looks like in the glass. This is my Fresh Fest DigiFresh. Oh man, I thought this was real. Yeah, this is the DigiFresh glass. Damn. Yeah, I'm out here. Yeah, own your own crown, man. Support Crowns and Hops. Support black breweries all around the country and the world. Cheers. Pass me another.
Damn, Skippy. Yep. See, that shit doesn't sound as good as the horn does.
Nope.
That shit sound like trash. And then my voice is kind of going.
Yelling. You was screaming today? Yeah. Sidebar, April. Y'all had a good game?
Yesterday I was screaming. Yesterday we had a good game. Today the games got forfeited, so she didn't play. Blah. Drove 45 minutes for her not to play. But you know.
Yep, the things
it happens.
Babies.
It happens. It happens.
You do for your babies.
Yeah.
April, his daughter plays AAU basketball. She had a tournament this weekend. And
so she be having us ripping and running, but sometimes she don't get to play. So, I mean, whatever. So, we're going to go ahead and get into the show. We're going to get into learning about Miss April in the CommUnity Brew. And the stage is yours. You can just let us know what you're into, what you got going on, what you're about to have going on, and whatever else you want to let us know.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm April from the CommUnity. I am a brewer. My story. I'm a nurse by trade, so I'm an ER nurse. And my beer journey started in 2013 when I went to Stuttgart, Germany to visit a friend for 2 weeks. Got really delved into the craft beer scene there. Fell in love with beer, came back to the States, started going to different breweries around the States, and then I became a travel nurse. So then that kind of opened up my door even more because I could go to different states and try different breweries at different states, which was really awesome. I really enjoyed that. I did that for about 10 years. During COVID, I was in Boston and was getting beer delivered to my house just because we couldn't go to breweries. So people were delivering stuff to my house. But really didn't get to drink much of it because I was working 2 assignments at the same time. So I was in Cape Cod and I was in Boston working. So I only had like 1 day off. So really didn't get to drink a lot of beer.
Sheesh.
During
COVID?
Somebody was drinking on the
job. or getting heavily drunk on that day off, that 1 day off.
Yes, I was all about the coins then. I was like, really sleep, all about the money right now. Give me all the money. That ended in July of 2020. And then came home with about 15 cases of beer. Drove from Boston back to Charleston, South Carolina, which is where I'm from. And my dad at the time was helping me unpack the car, and he's like, "What are we gonna do with all this beer?" And I was like, "Correction, we are not gonna do anything." Then my parents realized they're like, "Okay, this girl likes beer. Like, okay, what has she got herself into in the last 10 years of been traveling?"
Right.
So that's kind of how the Traveling Hoptista, which is like my personal name for myself on the Instagram. It's called Traveling Hoptista. It's a flight business. So I mix 4-packs and I mix flights for people and do beer tastings with them.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. But hold on. You said when you went to Germany?
Yeah, Germany, Stuttgart, Germany. My best friend moved over there and lived over there for years. So now she's in Switzerland.
Did you go over there with the intention of trying beers? Or
no, I had no idea. I didn't even know what she had planned for us. Like we ended up going to like the Frühlingsfest, which is the May Oktoberfest. Had no idea. Such a great time.
Wow. Yeah, I thought
so.
that.
So your friend was a beer drinker already. Was she a beer drinker
I mean,
because
she's a
of
minor beer
Germany?
drinker. She wasn't like too much into it, but she drank beer. Yeah, I mean, she's been to Oktoberfest and Frühlingsfest. So yeah,
She's still in Germany.
she's in Switzerland now.
Oh.
Yeah. She's like never having gone to
So wait,
Switzerland.
have you been to
Yeah, I
Switzerland?
don't think so either.
What
Yeah,
happened?
have you been to Switzerland?
Yeah,
She's
that's
like,
what I
she's
was gonna
never
ask.
coming
No,
back
I
to the
haven't been to
U.S.
Switzerland. I've always wanted to go, but I haven't made it that far yet. So
Y'all
Okay.
still friends?
yeah, we're still friends. We've been friends since we were like little kids.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
I was just you gotta get
Yeah,
that on your
on your
your
list.
checklist then. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely,
Mhm.
definitely got to go to Switzerland and visit her.
So is that what got you into beers? Was going to Germany, or you were already in the
Yeah,
beers then?
I would say so. I think that's kind of like the catalyst that got me kind of
Mhm.
going and was like, like, ooh, what is this new craft beer? Like, this is not the college beer I've been drinking, this Michelob Ultra or Natty Heavy or whatever. Like, this is like good fresh beer. And like in Germany, you drink it like it's water. So it's like
Mm.
in the morning you have a beer, for lunch you have a beer, for tea you don't have a beer, and then for dinner
Sheesh.
you have a beer, for dessert you have a beer. It's like beer,
Wait,
beer.
Beer.
and
Yeah.
nobody's judging you.
Yeah, no.
No, it
Like,
seems like nobody will be stumbling
we-
either. Everybody seems like they're holding their own.
yeah, and
Drinking beer all the
it's not
time.
like a sport where people like drink it to get drunk. It's just a culture there. Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
just like an everyday thing.
Hmm. Was
Which is really cool.
was there a certain beer in Germany or brewery that like kept
Um,
you coming back that made you want to come home and keep drinking, or was it just the whole experience in general?
in hindsight, I wish I would have known. Like, I wish I had a crystal ball and I could look into it and be like, "This is where you're going to be in 10 years."
Hmm.
You know, and I was just there for the experience. Like, she worked, so I just roamed Germany most of the time by myself. So I don't really remember a lot of different breweries we went to, but the lagers were where my heart was. Like, I just loved the lagers. They were just so clean and crisp. They're just so easy drinking. And over there, like they have rules about beer. Like you can't put a whole bunch of stuff in beer. Like the craft beer scene over there is slowly evolving, but it's definitely not as evolved as over here. Like there's three main beers in Germany, pretty much: a lager, ESB, and maybe a couple of like other small beers. But they don't put like all these crazy hops in their beer and all this
Right.
kind of stuff. Like beer has four ingredients: water, yeast, hops, and water,
Malt.
yeast,
Well,
malt. Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So it just kind of has that cleanness over there. There's
Hmm.
nothing
Right.
Hmm.
about it.
Okay. Well, you liked it because you came over here and kept it going. So
Yeah.
have you? So did you notice any? So could you tell, like, what would you say was the best that you had over there, or was it something that you had here? Is it like you had beer there and was like, oh, that was pretty good, and came here chasing it, but
Mm.
found something better, or you was like, oh,
Yeah,
I
I
wish
would
I went
say
back to Germany.
so. I think that's how I fell in love with saisons because like
Okay.
Okay.
saisons are so complex to me and just so in depth and just so much complexity, which I really love. And I think I came back over like having an appreciation for beer. And then when I tried all the different beers, I was like, it was okay to like pour out a beer that I didn't like or not like a beer. Like I fell in love with saisons when I went to Portland, Maine with a friend, and we did 13 breweries in 3 days. And their saisons are like my number one beer. Like I always say, I
Hmm.
believe saisons are sweat out lagers.
That's a motto. That's a beer. Do you have a shirt or a
I
trademark?
really need a shirt. I'm working on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely stealing that. I can't wait. Wait till you see me at the next beer fest, Yoda.
Right. You had that on your shirt.
Yeah. Could you
Stolen.
but continue from where you were? You said you got home.
Yeah.
You and your dad were unpacking. Your dad and your mom realized what you said that you like beer in these last 10 years and go.
Yeah. So then I started wanting to know more, like making sure, like I always felt like I was the only person. Like I noticed that theme when I would go to breweries in, Boston and just around the country, like there wasn't really many Black people. And I was like, I wonder why. And I started doing this like deep diving on Instagram, like trying to like look beer, Black people in beer, all this kind of stuff. And that's when I kind of like found Garrett Oliver and Celeste Betty and Alicia Mercado and all them. And then found this girl called the Black Beer Chick, which is Eugenia Brown out of Charlotte,
That's our
and
girl.
That's
found
our
her
people.
program Road to 100. And I was like,
Yeah.
what is this? And I reached out to her immediately and I was like, hey, I'm a Black girl. I love beer. I feel like I was the only one in beer and I am seeing I'm not. And I want to know more. And how can I learn more? And she's like, take to my Road to 100 class. It's 100 women get to take the certified Cicerone exam. And I was like, what is Cicerone? Like, what? I mean, like, she opened my eyes to so much stuff. And that was like the breaking point. Like, that was like the nail hit in the head. That's when April was like, oh, this is real. Like, you can do this professionally. You can do this not just as a hobby and to get drunk. Like, this is real. And fell in love with it, man. I did the Road to 100 and I aced the course. And the only thing was that I wanted to learn more. And I was like, how do I, why, like, because like the level 1 exam is just the basics. It's just like the skeleton, you know? And I wanted to know like the meat and the fat and the skin. I want to know all that. And they're like, no, you don't need to know that for this exam. But I'm like, I want to know.
Yeah.
And then I started looking for beer schools, and I found UC Davis and Cybel Technology School, Appalachian State. And I was like, man, I'm 30. There's no way I can go back to school, like, and have my parents pay all my bills, which like I'm doing now. That's a whole other story.
That's part of the story.
Yeah. So I was like, I found the school called American Brewers Guild up in Middlebury, Vermont, and it was an online program. Okay. So I signed up for that, applied for the MJF scholarship to get schooling. I did not get the scholarship, but the school ended up giving me $2,000 off my tuition. It was a $10,000 program, and went to beer school, and it was nothing like I expected. This was like a biochemistry intensive course in chemistry. So I learned about why malt does the way, like why malt swells when you put water in it, and the endosperm and all that kind of stuff, and the uptake. I learned about the engineering of brewing a brew house and having things in your brew house in certain positions because it's easier for friction and fire and stuff like that. Learned about water. We had all these guest lecturers and all this kind of stuff. So it was really cool. I ended up getting to go to Middlebury, Vermont for 2 weeks to do a on-site course. So we learned how to brew. We worked in the lab. We did some other stuff. But it was just like super cool. Ended up getting my brewer's certificate. And while I was in school, my boyfriend at the time was working at a brewery here called Holy City Brewing. And he was telling them that I was in the school. And funny enough, the owner went to the same school. So he was like, if she ever has any questions, come by the brewery. So I would always go by the brewery. Like when I was studying or when I was off from work, I was at the brewery just like learning what I was learning. And I was like, well, teach me whatever you can teach me.
Right.
And that turned out really good. And that's kind of how the community got started, because during that time, Chris Brown, the owner, was like, you seem really interested in beer. And I'm like, I really am. Like, I am all in. Like, this is something that I really want to do in the future. And he was like, all right. He's like, well, maybe you can help me now. And I was like, all right, tell me how I can help you. And he was just like, I really want to get more people of color into my tap room. And I was like, okay, why are you asking me? You know, like, I just drink beer. Like, I don't have any influence. And he was like, I want to know what you think can bring people into my brewery. And I was like, well, right now I have no answer for you because I don't even know. Let me think on it or whatever, and I'll get back to you. And it was one night, me and my boyfriend were out drinking at different breweries or whatever, because I've been to all 35 of the breweries in Charleston besides 2.
Of course you have. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm like, we got to brew to people's palates. Like, you have all these beers, like you go to breweries and there's like 37 beers on their tap, but like nothing tells a story. Like there's no story behind beer. And I was like, why is that? Like, all taste the same, all does the different things. Like, I want to know, I want a beer that's for me, that's made for me and tells me a story. Because I feel like in Black history, a lot of things tell stories. Like Amazing Grace tells us a story. You look at a black quilt from a Geechee Gullah artist and it tells you a story. Like, we're all based off of stories, minorities off of stories. And I was like, our beer needs to have a story with it. So I went back to him and I was like, we need to brew to their palate and we need to tell a story with our beer. And he was like, all right, we'll come up with a recipe. And I was like, bet, I'll do it. So met with my friend Paul, who's been my homebrew partner for a little bit. And we came up with a recipe. We drank Heineken for a night, a couple nights, just down 24 packs, just trying to get flavors and stuff like that. And,
of Heineken?
Why?
Because we wanted the research. We wanted to know what was in a Heineken. Like,
because black people drink Heinekens.
Right.
Got you.
That was the beer that would be
let's craft up a Heineken.
So we drank a lot of Heineken, which was a horrible 2 days.
Yeah, that's that for research purposes. I mean, Sometimes you gotta nasty it up.
Yeah,
That sounds crazy.
we end up homebrewing it.
Don't cut that. Don't.
Sometimes you gotta nasty it up.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna put that on a shirt.
No, we done made 2 shirts today, April. Look at us.
Yeah, we're making money over here.
We're out here making shirts.
Look, but the way April said it made it even worse. Sometimes you gotta nasty it up.
Gotta add the head pop with it. Gotta have it shake a little bit on the shirt.
Right. Yes. Have the little lines on the side.
Yeah.
Yo, it's happening. Yo, get your life together.
We working. Me and April we're gonna have the community brew shirts. That's a terrible name. I'll figure out a better name.
Yeah.
Just putting shirts on the end of yours does not make a good name. You have a good name. Just shirts, whatever.
Yeah. So then we homebrewed it. We let it lager for 6 to 8 weeks in our homebrew system. Brought it to Chris, and he was like, "This is golden." And we were like, "You like it?" And he was like, "Yeah, I love it." And we ended up brewing it on their home system. We brewed a 10-barrel batch our first time. We had a release party with it, and then we sold 40 cases the first night. Had 125 black people at the brewery. The regulars were like, "What's going on? Why are we?"
You had how many? You had 100 and how many?
25 black people.
More people that come to the brewery any other night.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Holy City is a really big brewery. It's one of the most popular breweries here, and they stay pretty packed. But we were outside on top of this. They didn't even have us inside. We were outside in their beer garden area, and it was just swamp full of just people, and it was so amazing, such a great time. And the party was just so much fun. We had a great time. I at that time had partnered with a guy that kind of is the key to the city, they call him. I don't know if I really believe that, but they call him the mayor of the city. There's some shade there.
Yeah, a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah.
I know this guy.
Now. You can't say his name now.
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, everybody know the mayor of the city. He got the keys.
But
he got the keys.
Yeah.
Everybody that know her know who she talking about.
Right. Absolutely. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Definitely true. But
let me ask you.
It must have worked out though.
What style is Heineken? And what style did you guys end up making? Because I can't put my finger on what's that, a lager?
Heineken is a Czech premium lager.
Okay.
And then we're international lager, they call it.
Okay.
But we end up making an American lager. So we use corn, two-row, noble hops, and regular use.
Now, had you and your brew partner brewed beer before together? Had you brewed beer prior to this? Was this your first time?
So me and my ex-boyfriend at the time, or my boyfriend at the time, we were brewing ourselves. We had just learned how to home brew, so we were brewing beers pretty regularly.
Is this the guy you drunk the Heinekens with?
No, so this is another guy that I drank the Heinekens with.
Okay.
He's just been a mentor for me for home brewing. He's been home brewing for 14 years, and I was this is the perfect person to ask to brew this journey.
Cool.
So that's kind of how the community came about.
So I'm just
is that the first rendition of the brew? Was that lager? Okay.
It was an American lager. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that just seems crazy to me that I don't know if it was the thought if it's the thought behind it that throws me off, because it's y'all thought about, okay, what do black people like to drink? Oh, Heinekens. Let me
go ahead and drink a case of Heinekens.
Let me drink a case of Heinekens. Do a slight replica, but not really. I don't. That's crazy to me. I mean, it's genius.
Yeah, I mean, it was nuts. I mean, it really was. It was did I really just sit a weekend and drink Heineken and do a beer and then had this result and now it's the thing?
That's what I was gonna say, and it worked.
I honestly thought this was gonna be a one beer thing. I didn't realize, I keep saying, it is so weird how my life has transformed from 2020 to now. If I would have known that this is what my life is going to be like, a lot of people know the path of their life, not know the path of their life, but they know future endeavors they want to get into. And I never thought this was a future endeavor. You couldn't tell me 10 years ago that I'd be sitting here doing this. I just laugh at you and be like, bitch, I'm going to be a nurse for the rest of my life. I keep telling people, got to pump your bed up. I'm going to be here till I'm 90, taking care of you.
I kind of feel the same way about us in this podcast. Like we're talking to you, you tell me in 2016. Like I listened to podcasts heavy back then. You tell me I would have my own, and
Right. Yeah.
nah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So yeah. So welcome to the
Yeah.
unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. It's like you kind of pinch yourself sometimes. And I have like, I was talking to Garrett Oliver and I was like, I have really bad imposter syndrome because like I have these parties and I'm like, wait, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what am I doing today? You mean I'm having a beer come out and I'm trying to get black people to come try my beer? Like,
Right.
what?
And then they're coming. It's not like you got two black
Yeah.
people and it's your mom
Right.
and your dad. Like it's everybody.
Yeah. You know,
Everybody that can make it comes and it packs
yeah.
Yeah,
breweries.
okay, so that's what I want to get into. Like, how was this promotion done for this beer? Because like, because still, like, if it wasn't that many black people going into this brewery in the first place, right? Like, what did you guys do to
Yeah,
promote it to
what's
make
this
them come out
campaign like?
to
Yeah,
to come out to
So
the
that's a
brewery?
good question.
that's the part that I struggle with now. So from what I learned in hindsight, a lot of the people that were at the brewery weren't there for the beer. They were just friends of friends.
Okay,
So they were just there because there was an event happening.
right,
It was more of so like my partner's vision and his goal and Instagram and his influencer goal is to get black people in white spaces. So my goal was to get black people to drink beer. So yeah, people were drinking beer, but they really weren't there for the beer. They were there to be in a white space.
okay,
So as we've moved forward and me and him we're no longer partners anymore, the numbers have dwindled down, just being honest, because they are not wanting to go out of their comfort zone and try different things, which is my whole thing is like come out into these spaces, still come out into these white spaces, but try different things. Like a brewery does not have to have liquor for you to enjoy yourself. Like
right,
Right.
go out and try different beers. Like there may not be a beer that you like, but at least you came and tried and
right,
you support a black woman in your city doing beer.
right,
And that's been the hardest thing. Like there are, I promote on Instagram. We don't have a website just yet because I'm a one woman show. But we're promoting on Instagram, we're promoting on Eventbrite, all these type of things. And we get people out and, you're texting and I'm endlessly texting people, messaging people, all this kind of stuff like, hey, come out to the event. The event's happening. People are so happy. People know about me. But it's like when it comes time to come to the event, it's like maybe 25, 50 people. But that 25, 50 people want to try the beer, which is nice.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like, I might rather have that small of a crowd with people wanting to try beer and wanting to open their minds to the beer community
Right.
than 125 people who are just there just to be there because
to be there,
it's the most
right,
popular thing to do.
Exactly.
right,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think like what you said is more intimate and it works better in the long run to have the 25 to 50 people that want the beer because they'll go and tell everybody has at least one beer friend that they didn't necessarily bring to that
right,
opening or that
yeah,
release. So they'll run and tell the one beer friend and maybe that can double your, you know what I mean? Not completely double it, but by 25% or by
Yeah.
12% or something like that. And then the
Yeah.
next time it's another 12%, and you can keep on growing that. Like I think beer growth, especially in the black community, is organic because people don't trust it unless somebody like us is behind it, and then they have to trust us. Like they'll trust us. They'll trust us a little bit more than they'll trust a white person because we're black. But then they don't know us. They're like, I don't really know them. I gotta taste it myself. That beer wasn't good. All beers are nasty. And it's like, no, it's 1,000 different types of beers in one style. In just one style. There's like all these different adjuncts and flavors. So I think it's more of it is a community thing. Like you have to hold somebody's hand and walk them in, a non-beer drinker, and hold their hand and let them taste all them 1,000 different styles so they find the style that they like, because then they'll keep coming back. And if it's a brewery that makes that style, they'll go to the brewery and drink there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many, if they're the only black person there, like that's the only place I can get the beer that I love. I'm going to go there to get it.
Yeah, and that's why I change the beers every time I do a beer because
I want to ask you that next. Good.
I want to make sure people are developing a palate. So I always say, like, follow me throughout my journey of this community, and your palate will be so much better by the end. Because then you'll be able to go to a brewery and you'll be able to tell the brewer what you want. You'll be able to tell the beer tender what you want. You won't have the beer tender telling you, oh, what do you drink? Oh, I don't really have time to really educate you, so I'm just going to give you this lager, or I'm just going to give you this sour, or I'm just going to give you this lager. Like, no, you could be like, no, I don't really like sours, and I don't really like lagers. Do you have anything malty and complex? They're just going to look at you like, what?
And they'll be like, what? Yeah.
But you know what? That's enough. Sometimes that's enough to not get shunned. Like showing somebody who doesn't think you know that you know makes them their ears perk up. It happens all the time in all different genres of whatever. If you show that you're educated in that particular area, the person behind the counter or the person behind the knowledge behind the gate is willing to open up the gate a little bit more for you. It's weird like that though, because ignorant people can't get a good education on beer. But that's when the holding the hand in the community, I think, comes in. Like, we'll help you through it.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. So when you guys change up so you said the one that you have currently is the 5th installment. Is that
it's a stout. She went from lager to stout.
Yeah,
you went from light skin to dark skin.
I went from cream ale. I went from cream ale to stout. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry. I thought that you said the first one was a lager.
Yeah, but this is my 5th one. What happened to the 4 in between?
Yeah,
that's what I said. I said
so. I think you skipped them.
Because I didn't know what the.
So that's where you at right
now. So I started at the light skinned, and then I went all the way to the dark skinned, and in the middle you got some.
Yeah, so my first installment was the American Lager, which was with Holy City. The second one was a Tahitian Treat Sour.
Whoa! So that was for the Negro palate, for real.
That's me right there, baby. I like that. You still got some of that in the stock? Where
man, we were out of that. We sold out of that so fast.
I know you did. That's the one where it don't matter who drink beer. It's gonna be 1,000 motherfucking black people at the goddamn door.
Loved it.
Tahitian Treat.
I made it for the ladies because I was like, I got to get the ladies in here.
You didn't make it for just the ladies. I'm a man.
Yeah, it sold. It was sold.
Yes, I wish I knew you back then.
Of course it did.
Tahitian Treat Sour. Then we did a watermelon wheat for Juneteenth, which a lot of breweries were like, watermelon for Juneteenth.
So
and I was like, that's what we're doing.
It's so funny because we were talking about. When we were talking about doing a collab and we were trying to think about a fruit to use, we was like, we're not doing watermelon. It's too.
I did it.
And now, like, I wish we would have. I just think of a watermelon goza. Like, it would be delicious. Yeah. Watermelon and salt. And then, you know how people trying this challenge with the mustard? I haven't done it yet. I still was kind of nervous about it. But even if you put a hint of because I think the mustard is salty. I think that's all it is.
I just don't understand.
I don't understand and salt on mine.
Tequila?
So I grill it and then I put tequila and then salt.
That's a big. Can we
hold on. On the watermelon?
Yes. Because you know tequila because watermelon take any liquor. It take any liquid.
Yeah.
And you just put any liquid in. Soak it up and taste just like that.
Really good.
I don't eat watermelon, but that doesn't sound bad.
With a Tahitian Treat beer?
Then we did the watermelon wheat. And
so is that with wheat? Actual wheat?
Yes, we did wheat. So it's 50% wheat, 50% two-row. And then watermelon puree. And that turned out really well. We're almost done with that one. That one was back in June.
We'll talk after that. We'll talk after the episode. I need some of that too.
And then
can you go back and make some? Never mind. We'll talk.
My goal is to always remake these beers and have them continuing out as I'm putting out new flavors.
Okay.
And then we did a Jimmy Red cornmeal cornbread cream ale.
You are definitely trying to get some black people in here.
Yeah, what is it? What is that? The cornbread? What?
So Jimmy Red cornmeal is a red cornmeal that really makes really good corn muffins. They're more savory. They're not as sweet as like Jiffy Lube or Jiffy whatever.
Oh, Jiffy Lube cornbread is terrible. That shit is greasy as a motherfucker, boy. That shit crazy.
Jiffy, yeah.
What is it? Jiffy? It's just Jiffy, isn't it?
It's just Jiffy, yeah.
It's Jiffy. Yeah, it's Jiffy. But the cornmeal is like reddish, grayish hue, and it's like a little bit more savory. So we did that cornmeal in with the malt and made a cornbread out of it. So it came out really kind of peppery and corny. It was clear. It was beautiful. It was like probably my most favorite beer. I drank so much of it.
You don't have none of that left either?
None of that left.
What kind of, so is that cornmeal like something of the South or like,
yeah, it's based off of the South. Yeah,
okay,
it's a southern cornmeal. Yeah, you probably can't get it anywhere besides the South.
Yeah, I never even heard of it. You said reddish gray.
Yeah.
And if I see reddish gray in my cornmeal, I think that's mold. I throw it out. So I can't even imagine. Like I can't even imagine reddish gray.
Yeah,
but so that's the fourth, and then the current one. When did this current one come out? The stout.
Yesterday.
Oh shit!
Shoot.
Yeah,
so tell us even more. Tell us even more about it.
Yeah, so it was our anniversary. October 1st is where I'm a year old. And we had a party for it. So it was really nice. Thank you. And I wanted to do an IPA, but I was like, I can't go from cream ale to IPA. Like I can't like make that drastic change in people's palates.
Right. Yeah.
I need to do something like kind of on the same lines, but like it's not too good for the fall, good for the winter. So I was like, I try to do a brown ale. I tried to do a praline brown ale, but it didn't turn out very well. So I was like, no. So I was like, let me do a stout, but let me like mess with people's minds and be like, it's blonde, like it's not like dark.
Yeah.
Let's lighten it up a little bit. And let's use a coffee bean that's like not American coffee bean. Like let's use something that's, authentic or ethnic or whatever. And that's why we chose Peruvian coffee. And Peru has like a lot of history. So a lot of Black slaves went to Peru.
Yep.
Which I didn't know that, from slave trade. I thought everyone ended up in America, but no, they were like in
Costa Rica, Peru, Chile. Yep. All those South American and Brazil.
Yeah, I thought that was so amazing. And I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect for the community, like doing, that type of stuff. So
and it goes back to telling your story, April.
Right.
Because like you said, you didn't know, and now you know, and now you can pass it on to people that are drinking the coffee stout. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
So I told the story yesterday, which was really cool. We have a DJ at all of our parties, and sometimes we do raffles. We didn't do raffles this time, but we sell merch and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was really good. It was a good time. I mean, like I said, there was about 20 people out there, kind of trickled in, trickled out. We were outside, and it's like windy and nasty here right now. But people came out, which was good, and supported, and that's all that mattered. We made, some money for our nonprofit because the community is a nonprofit.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I not to cut you off, but I know you said that you guys did one with Holy City, right? What other breweries did you? Because you're saying that you didn't do business with them anymore. So what's the other breweries that you work with?
Oh, I do business with Holy City.
Okay. It was so which one was it? You said you worked with somebody else, right?
I met with my partner.
Oh, just a partner. Okay.
The guy that she did the first collab with, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So are all the collabs with the same brewery, or
no? There were different breweries.
Okay.
So every brewery and do a different beer.
Oh,
so what's the brewery and basically say, hey, I'm April. I'm the first female Black brewer in Charleston. As I know, there's no other people that would look like me here. You don't have enough Black people in your tap room. You should do my beer. And they look around and
you answered the question. That was exactly what I was going to ask. Like, how do you make this?
Like, okay.
So how do you pick the beer? How do you pick the brewery to walk in and give that spiel to?
I just pick all my favorites, and I just my goal is to go around to not. I mean, there are some that I will not go to just because they just are not that type of people, and they don't care. They don't care about inclusivity or anything like that. So I pick a lot of the big brands, people that I have relationships with, which I have a lot of relationships with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I kind of go into that, and I use a lot of since doing this, I've gotten a lot of connections with like brewery industry nights and like being part of the brewers club and all that kind of stuff. So I always talk about it when I'm at these events, and breweries are like, yeah, I'm going to hit you up and let's think about doing something together or whatever. So now they're coming to me instead of me going to them.
Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How often do these do your collaborations come out? You had the 5.
So I was doing it one every other month, but that got really busy, especially with me nursing at the time. But next year, I'm kind of spacing it out a little bit. I'm really heavy in the top end, so like In January, we have a Guinea Flint Lager coming out and a Sorrel Kombucha coming out. And then we have a whiskey blonde ale that was put in Uncle Near's whiskey barrels that's coming out in March. So I'm really top heavy, and then I'm doing a beer with one of the plantations here. They are basically, yeah. So they basically have a program where if you can trace your heritage back to the plantation, like if one of your members or family members were on the plantation, they will pay for your schooling. So they want to do a beer together with Holy City, and Holy City was like, we ain't doing it by ourselves. We're grabbing April, which I don't really blame them. So I'm having a beer come out with them too. So I've got about 4 beers coming out between January and March already.
Wow.
That's awesome. That plantation is sticking with me, but I'll find a question. I'm gonna find a question for that plantation.
Yeah, believe me, I have all the questions.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, me too. So you said it like plantation.
Let's talk about some black shit first, though. That Uncle Near's barrels. Are they already in the barrels?
Yeah, we put them in the barrels.
So the beer's already made. Oh,
beer's already made. Yep, beer's already made. Put in Uncle Near's whiskey barrels.
And what
shout out to KJ Kearney? He's the one that got me the hookup from.
Yeah, that's dope. You know that guy too.
Yeah, that's my really good friend.
Do you got the barrels? What kind of style is this again?
A Belgian blonde. So a Belgian blonde ale. So it's gonna have a lot of phenols. So you're gonna get a lot of clove and banana. You're gonna get a lot of cardamom, cinnamon from the beer. Just like your regular Belgian beers, like Belgian triple, Belgian double, stuff like that. And then we put that in the whiskey barrels. And the whiskey barrels are fresh. They've only been used maybe 3 or 4 times.
Wow. April, what's your favorite style? You be drinking all these beers. What's your favorite
style? I know. A Saison in a lager.
It's still Saison and lager. Okay. Because you haven't made a Saison yet.
I know. So
which is weird. But
yeah.
Which kind of brings me to the point where there's a brewery that's like I'm working with called Edmund's Oast, which is a big brewery around here. And they're like, what kind of beer do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I think my people kind of want an IPA. And they're like, all right, well, let us know. And I was like, well, I did a red IPA with Low Tide when I did my apprenticeship, which I love red IPAs because they're a lost style, but they can be really good. They can be very West Coasty, very malty forward, very sitting in a Sequoia natural forest type of flavor. And I was like thinking about doing that. And they were like, what's your favorite style? And I'm like, a Saison. And they don't do Saisons. And they're like, why don't we do a Saison? And I'm like,
wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink it all. That's why. Because I can't afford to sit in your brewery anymore and just sit here and drink.
Right. Dang. That's a lot going on though.
I have a question about these collabs. Do you want any of these collabs to be like I know you said you want to bring them all back at one point in time. Is there any way that you can get them where they're at the tap room and they're just there? Yeah,
that's the goal. That would be the goal. So
how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we make this happen?
I rebrewed the first one again. They did that one in a 30 barrel, but it didn't move as fast. We brewed it in December. It came out in January, and we ended up like sitting on it for a while. I think we just brewed too big of a batch, and the interest wasn't there anymore because people wanted to try other new beers that I was putting out.
Yeah.
So I think the way it works is really getting on the brew schedule. So the breweries have really tight brewery schedules, and their tanks are already made for the rest of the year and all that kind of stuff. So it's really me gauging like how the system's working and being like, "Ooh, excuse me, when can we get in to do the brew again?" Because it sold out. It did really well. So yeah.
Does it matter since it's your recipe? Does it matter if you go back to the same brewery? Is that a contract thing that you have with them? Or can you go to another brewery with that recipe and say,
the same recipe?
Brew this gray red cornbread ale or cornbread. I forget what you call it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the Jimmy Jams and cornbread. But could you go from one? Okay, but you have that's not nothing that you would have done yet.
No.
Okay.
I would be fear if it would taste different for some reason. I don't know why. I just think that because everybody uses different water type, everything is
but
different.
Then what if she goes to the same brewery and a different head brewer's there? It'd probably be different then too.
Yeah, that's true.
I pray that gets fired or quits.
Yeah, me too. But those things, life be lifing, and people be
Yeah.
moving to Denver and Colorado and
Yeah.
New Mexico all the time. Because Denver got a lot of beer. That's all. I don't know why I said New Mexico. I was trying to explain the thing. But
so with the community, what's the number one goal? Like and so if you wanted to pull me into it sounds weird saying the community, pull me into it sounds like some crazy shit going on, some call.
Yeah. Pull me into the community.
But if you wanted to pull me into the community, what would you pitch to me?
And is the community local? Is it local to South Carolina? Is it nationwide?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's local. People have been talking to me, so I've been talking to a lot of people. So I won the Women's of Evolution grant, and I got to talk to Ash Elliott and Jen Blair, and they are really talking about me trying to make this like not Black is Beautiful, but like expand it more to other breweries. And I've had other breweries reach out to me and say, we would love to do a collab with you and get people there. It's all about time and money, to be honest, and trying to figure out, how I go about getting those things happening. But it's definitely something that I want to make wider, like especially probably not this year, but next year, I really want to get it out of South Carolina and like up into the upstate and maybe into other states and stuff like that. So,
yeah. And so when these breweries are saying like they're willing or they would like to work with you to get more Black people in the brewery, like what does that really mean though? Because it's like you just want us to come in there and spend our money, or is it that you're doing something to help us too?
Yeah, so that's a big question, and a lot of breweries don't really. So a lot of these breweries that have probably questioned me and asked me to be a part of that don't realize that I don't put any money into this beer. I pay no money out of my pocket because I'm providing a service for you.
Right.
So, but we ask for a percentage of the sales because it's my recipe and I came up with the idea. We ask for a percentage of the sales, but that is a question. Like, after I do this beer, what are you going to do to continue to have these people come in? And I think that's been a lot of the problem with a lot of the beers that I've been doing is that I don't have enough time between beers to follow up with them and be like, okay, so what are we doing next?
Right.
What are we doing this time? Are we doing a community night where people are just coming in and they get a flight, for a discounted price and they get to try different beers?
Right.
Or are you saying, come in, check out our brewery, do a brewery tour, whatever, to, young kids and stuff like that? Like, there's so much that we can do for the community that I think I feel like here in Charleston, breweries are scared to make that step because they're so whitewashed and they're so white-faced that they're like, I don't want to be the first one to do it because I don't want to get the backlash. But it's like, some of you guys gotta strap your balls in. I don't tell you,
strap your balls
down,
get them balls strapped. Yeah,
like
you're right.
I'm working
like don't just talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, and I left nursing as of October 3rd and went into the brewing industry full time. And
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And the brewery that I'm working with is like, we really like you to help us with inclusivity and diversity. And I knew this was kind of going to happen because I'm not the first Black person to work there, but like I'm the community, and they're like, they've had my beer there, and they're like, okay, well, what do we need to do to get this? And a lot of the questions I don't know the answers to. I'm like, well, I'm going to have to research myself because like I need to make sure when you do something that's in good taste. Like you're going to get backlash. You're a white-owned brewery. Like you're going to get the backlash. Like you have to be okay with that. You know what I mean? It's like you take the consequence, you take the risk. But as long as you're taking the risk and doing it in the right way, that's all that really matters. But we need to start doing something now before Black History Month comes and you want to throw something up for Black History Month.
Right.
That would be nice.
Yeah. And I think that it gets kind of strange to me when it comes to that though, because like, what if there is no backlash? What if it's just the fact that everybody else sees it and they're like, oh well, it's okay. Like let's go ahead and do this too. Like it may not even be any backlash. I mean, you never know until you do it. So, but I think that's what happened with Black is Beautiful. It's like everybody did all these all this Black is Beautiful campaign and stuff. And then after that was over, it was just like
they got their black card.
Yeah, we did that, and that's it. Like nothing else happened afterwards. So
and what it actually should be, it should be like something like you're doing with the community, April. It should be like, oh, well, we're gonna start the initiative. Like Weather Souls started the initiative, they showed you how to do it. Now, some white brewery put out a lager, Black is Beautiful, and send it across the country, the recipe, and have people do it the same way Weather Souls did, just to keep them, or any brewery, just to keep the momentum going. And that it's like, oh, like you said, I did my good deed for the decade 2020. I don't have to do nothing good till 2031. It's like, nah, nigga, no. Like, you gotta show every day, or I don't. Yeah,
because then it's like, what was the purpose at this point? Like, you should have just kept the shit to yourself.
You could have just been quiet, because you didn't make that much more money.
Right.
You really didn't. You didn't move the needle on your money. And the Black people that were coming because you were so progressive, they're not coming anymore. So what's the point?
Yeah. The brewery I work for is called Frothy Beard Brewing. They're three great guys. They all know their lanes. They work really well together. And they're like a nerdy brewery, so they like Star Trek and like
that's like
Power Rangers and stuff like that. And one of the managers has been trying to do an anime night, which I think would be wonderful because so many people are into anime. Like that would bring out such a great crowd,
And I don't know if anime and beer would be considered a pair. You know what I mean? Like
why not? Why not try it?
Now, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but I'm just like, when you think about anime, what are they drinking? I don't even know.
Probably like rice lagers, probably because they're based out of Japan, right?
Sake and things like that.
So have that there for that event, and you have a anime night every. So
and then you can introduce your other beer, have a flight with the rice lager on it, and then have the other beers that are kind of like a sour that's similar. You got girl.
Yeah, that's a good idea, or whatever. And like they have drag shows all the time, and I'm like, why not? Why don't we have a beer for drag shows? For people who stuff like that. Like you have to be intentional with what you're doing, and that's what makes it authentic. If you don't seem, intentional in what you're doing, then that's when it becomes a problem. But we have to do something.
Right.
I'm sorry. What beer you drunk all those Heinekens to get the black beer palette? What beer would you drink to get the drag queen beer palette?
Oh, I don't even know. Glittery.
Yeah. Something glittery.
There is some beer with drinkable glitter in it now.
Yeah, that's true. Like unicorn fart or something.
Yeah. That is. If
true.
I want to ask a question more directly towards you, so like you said, you were an ER nurse. How are you? Okay, are you all right?
I am in a better place than what I was in 2020. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I saw and did a lot of things that I.
How long were you were a nurse for just
years.
the 10 year? Just the 10 years? Okay.
Yeah.
And you traveled the whole time?
Traveled the whole time. Yeah, I was all over. I really got heavy into traveling during COVID. I was all over the country. I drove through a snowstorm in freaking North Dakota. I drove down mountains. Like I was in Texas. I was in Washington, D.C. I was in Boston. I was all over.
Wow.
And we did a lot of things that were just like crazy. Like we did some crazy shit that like we should probably not have our licenses anymore, pretty much, but that was just the time. Like nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew how to treat this.
Right.
We were short on equipment, short on drugs. Like those were the things that we did. And it was hard, it was really, really hard. I felt really bad PTSD from it. Nightmares for a while. I was in intense therapy for 2 to 3 days a week after coming out of COVID. And I realized that my heart wasn't in nursing anymore. I wasn't empathetic anymore. Like a patient would come in and I'd be like, look, he's 86 and he's lived a good life. Like, why are we doing CPR?
Oh, whoa.
Like,
that's when it's time to go.
Yeah. I don't want you as my nurse when you acting like that. That's my papa.
It's real. It's
real. Right.
Burnout.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. Was it anything like that before COVID started? You were in love with it?
Oh my God, I was so in love with it. I was in love with travel nursing. Like it probably was the time that I was my happiest. And I just flourished. I fell in love with Cape Cod. I felt like that was going to be my forever home. I met great friends up there, had great times. Loved just meeting new people. Actually, my goal with travel nursing was to travel around the United States and then opening up a consulting business for failed ERs, and then go in and be like, this is why your ER is failing. This is what you need to do, X, Y, and Z, and then go from there. But I never got that far because COVID happened.
Yeah.
They did that to a lot of nurses. A lot of nurses walked out. They made their money and they walked out.
Right.
I actually listened to another podcast that said how many nurses and doctors went the route that you went, just found other things that were more fulfilling because it was so something that they loved became such a deterrent to their lives.
Yeah.
And so what? I don't care how much money I'm making.
You know what's crazy though? I think it's crazy that she took what she thought she wanted to do after that because she said she wanted to be that person that goes, hey, this is why
now she's fixing breweries.
Yeah, and that's doing the same thing.
You have a consulting business for fixing whitey white breweries.
Right. Yeah.
Saltine breweries. I put a little Ritz in them.
Was that on purpose? Was that on purpose or
no? You know, you mentioning that kind of was like, oh yeah, I kind of did.
So you never thought that.
You're welcome. You are welcome. Yeah. We're out here making t-shirts, brainstorming. Look at this. Look at this. This is great.
Pretty much happened. She said, "Well, I do still love this part."
Yeah, and I still like helping and making things better. Yeah,
right. I do, and I really genuinely I really do have a love for beer. Like I love doing this, like talking to people about beer and talking about my mission and talking about beer in general. Like I get so elated. Like people can tell, like my friends always tell me, they're like, we love watching you talk about beer to people because you just get so excited. Like you are just in your element. And I'm like, because it's something that I passionately, truly love. And when you truly passionately love something that you're doing, like it's so good. Like even working at the brewery, like I don't get those feels all the time, but there's certain things that I do and I'm like, yes, this is what I want to be doing.
Right.
You know, but there's certain times where I'm like, no, this is not what I want to be doing. Like when I'm serving, I'm like, I don't want to serve.
So do you what are you actually doing at what you call, I don't want to say the name, the Three Brothers? Yes. What is your actual position at the brewery currently?
So I'm a jack of all trade at the brewery. So I get to do everything. So I work 2 days back in the brew house. And I'm learning pretty much taking over packaging. So one of the owners is teaching me how to run the canning line and packaging. And then one day I learn just general brew house stuff, like how to clean a tank, how to drop a beer, take samples, run pH testing, stuff like that. Well, 2 days I'm out on the floor. I'm a manager on the floor. I'm an assistant manager. So I basically wrangle all of the the servers and bartenders or whatever. So I do that once every other week. And then the other day I'm a server or a bartender, which is the one job I hate. And then one day I'm in the office where I'm learning back at the house or learning how to run a brew house. That has been kind of like, we're still trying to learn, we're still trying to figure out what they need to teach me. Because unfortunately I'm going to have to open up one of these eventually.
Yeah. I mean, right. That's what my next question was going to be. Is that's
the goal? You want to
it wasn't the goal at the beginning.
Okay.
Like when I did my apprenticeship and internship, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Stop planning things out for yourself. Your goals always change. That's what I've learned about these last hour that we had with you. You make a plan and it's like that shit goes out the window. So stop. Just go with the flow. Just like this podcast.
I really am. And I've had a couple investors, reach out to me and were like, we really would like to open up a black brewery in Charleston.
Yeah.
I'll be a part of it. So I'm talking to 2 guys now that are really serious about it. And we've been talking and going just to different buildings and looking at different sites and talking about a business plan and all that kind of stuff. So so that might be my future in the next 2 or 3 years, opening up a brewery and brewing and all that good stuff. So it will be nice. I want an all-female team. I don't want any males.
Nice.
So I'm already looking at people.
Maybe like the male podcast crew, just the all male podcast crew.
Yeah, I have a podcast. That'd be good.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't have to make beer. We could just go in there and drink it. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Let you use the brew house to set up your
podcast. That's it. We could be on location twice a year. We come down to South Carolina.
You got to have a soundboard though. We can't be doing like
Yes,
Yeah.
we will not.
Come on,
Stop.
why-
You didn't have to bring it up.
why
Look, and
does she
I
have to
almost
just do that?
I almost sold out
Yeah,
too. Yo,
yeah,
I
you almost
sold
did.
out.
I'm glad you stopped. She just came at us because we don't have the soundboard.
It's not our fault. It's not our fault. The boy went to see a concert. Let the boy live in his concert.
But that's I like that. I like that. So because if you do open a brewery, you want it to be black owned. So
Yeah.
And then
a black
that.
female run.
Yeah.
Female run is two checks. And then you'll be the first black. Are you the first black brewer or first black female brewer in South Carolina?
First female black brewer in South Carolina.
Okay. So there's a black man that brewed before you. Okay. So is that the job that you want besides owner? Is that the job that you want? Is to be a brewer, or you want to be the man? Like, what would you do? Your ultimate job at the brewery besides owner?
I think I would like to kind of have my hands in just a little bit of everything, especially in front of the house, seeing how the beer is going. Like, it's one thing to be a brewer in the back and brewing all these beers, but if you don't know what's going on in the front of the house and what's selling in the front of the house, then
you can't brew beer.
You're making all these beers, but nobody's drinking them and they're just sitting on them.
Right.
Which is what you don't want to happen, which I've learned throughout brewing these beers, is that sometimes it gets like that. You don't want that. Like, you don't want to be sitting on beers for 6 months.
True.
Yeah. Like, why does it? Why did, like? Because you said you went through that. So, what do you think made that happen?
Hold on. Like, made it that the beer sat for 6 months.
To sit. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Probably for me, I would say lack of people being aware that the beer was out.
So, isn't that the beer tender's job, though?
Kind of, yeah.
To push I feel like it's 5 o'clock. The brewery about to open, and we like, hey, this lager is a month old. Like, what we doing?
Yeah.
Like, why don't we move this? Like, somebody about to get fired.
Yeah,
because I need this beer to be moved.
That's what kind of happened with the watermelon wheat. It sat for a while. Like, we're just finishing it in October, and it came out in June.
Oh yeah.
They didn't can it. They wouldn't can it.
Why not?
They didn't want to.
Because it was said watermelon.
So is that something that you learned? That's something I
majorly learned. Like,
like you're gonna do what I tell you to do.
Like,
yeah.
You can't expect people to drink all your beer in your tap room, which I
tap room, right?
Get people to come to the tap room, but you got to have something for people to.
Would they can it on site?
They weren't canning on site either. They got rid of the power machine.
So they
screwed themselves over. You know what I mean? But in the end, it screwed me over because I still don't have a check yet.
Right. Yeah.
A check. I'm like, look, like, Mama's got to pay bills. Mama's got people to pay. Like, these events are not cheap. They're not free.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, like, especially like when it's not. I feel like it should be canned, especially when it's not their specific beer. Like,
beer, it needs to be canned so people can take it.
Right.
Give it to friends and be like, I tried this beer. It's really good.
Right.
So does that particular brewery, do they can at all?
They do.
Oh no. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So in your when you walk in there or when they call you, it's like, oh, well, you're canning the beer for distribution outside the brewery. And if they say no, well, when y'all figure out how to can my beer, then we can work together.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. That's all collaborations come in cans or a bottle.
Something.
At least a sippy pouch or something, like a Capri Sun. Can they do that? Like, shit, do that for me. God damn. No type of travel. I can't walk out of here.
We
can't even walk to the parking lot with a glass. A pint.
Yeah, 15 barrels is a lot of beer.
That is a lot of beer.
Go through. That's a lot.
I'm looking forward to this. Uncle Nair.
Yeah, I like. I meant to say that earlier.
Bottles, 750 bottles.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be nice and old. Yeah, and that's professional. Yeah, sure, that's nice. That's put me down. For I need 3 myself.
Okay.
What's the ABV on that?
I don't know ABV. It's probably gonna be high. It's probably gonna be like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And what's the other? What's the other 2? You said the plantation one, the Uncle Nearest next year. You have anything coming through for 2022? Anything else?
Nothing else in 2022. We're done.
Okay, so early January. You said those two. I forget what were they again.
The Guinea Flint Lager and the Kombucha Sorrel.
Wait, which one of these is the plantation?
That's the later one. That's the later
that's one that's coming out in January at Holy City. So that may be coming out January, February.
Yeah,
but
so
I think we might do a beat. They want to do beats, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Beat somebody's it.
Oh, that would be like terrible. That type of beat. BEA. Y'all was talking about beats last week.
Beats, yeah, we were beats.
So listen. What does beats have to do with slavery or scholarship?
I guess it was a main crop. So from what the brewery told me was
in South Carolina,
that was grown on this plantation.
Oh, okay. That all right. I'm with that. That makes a little bit of sense because you can't. All right. So a beet.
Was gonna say cotton beer.
You can't make a cotton beer. There ain't no such thing as that. Oh my God! I mean, you could distill it through the cotton.
Could that's a lot of cotton for a lot of beer.
And
a lot of picking.
No, and that's fucked up.
No, who picking it? Who picking it? Can them owners pick it? They still own the plantation? Why they still own the goddamn plantation? Give up the plantation.
Yeah, I'm just that threw me off a little bit.
Give me a scholarship instead of leaving the plant. Just leave.
Yeah, call it something else.
Walk away. Get another position.
The fact they're still calling it a plantation makes
and then we're gonna do good by you. Find out on your own if you was a descendant of a slave here, and we'll give you some money. But do it on your own though. We're not gonna find y'all.
We're giving you some money because your ancestor worked here.
I don't know how I'm feeling about this, April. You gotta get a lot of money from them. A lot of money.
I told my I said we need to talk before we.
Yeah, we need to give some personal reparations to April.
Yeah, I'm just curious, how they even kick. So, are you the first? Are you going to be the first collab with this plantation, like beer collab with this plantation? Yeah. Like I'm so confused.
Do they have horses there? Like what's going on? Here? What is happening here?
Who was sitting here, part of this plantation, and said, you know what? This sounds like something we should do.
Yeah.
You got a name for this beer yet?
Jamal Lemon, right?
Say it again.
You know Jamal Lemon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did a beer with Edmund O's called
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah. I had that. I kept that can.
That. Yeah.
I drank the beer. I kept the can. It's on my shelf.
That can was a little traumatizing for me.
So the brewery's got a lot of heat for that. A lot of heat for that.
I bet.
And that's what Holy City was like. I don't know if I want to do this.
Why they get heat for that though? Like it's y'all's history. Y'all did it
right.
Yeah.
Everybody
after Edmund was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, because even the name of the brewery is like after
After the
yeah.
And that's crazy.
Y'all mad. Everybody mad when the truth really come out. Y'all history ain't y'all.
Right.
Let's let this truth come out just a little bit. Somebody be holding that. Somebody be writing it in a little book somewhere. Like this is what really happened. Don't ever forget this. This is what really happened this day.
Right.
Sheesh. Yeah, don't plan. Double your fee.
Double down on that
for these plantations.
Yeah, because
just because I feel like I understand why you're doing it.
I get it too, but in the back of my mind, I keep saying, "What are they up to?"
Yes, like what's going on? Like they gonna get out you?
That's the same thing that I said. I was like, so how are you promoting this? Like, this before, so like, and I'm like, I know KJ Curdy hasn't heard about this before, so like, how are you promoting this?
Is it going to be like an all black people party at the plantation where like white people are serving?
Oh God!
Like what's I'm confused.
I'm confused too. I don't know yet.
I can't wait to see how this works.
Yeah, I'm going to be texting you on the side. I need all this side info.
So, did you have a meeting yet? Because I need to know what happened.
Did you meet the great granddaddy's daughter already? What she look like? What he look like? Jeez. I just want them to. When you said that they making sure they're gonna give scholarship money to people that can prove they were descendants from that plant. Like I want y'all to do it.
Yeah.
Like, just get a researcher and you do it. Go find me. And don't tell me you're gonna give me money for college. Just give me the money.
Right. Right.
And then you started reparations. You did it. You did it.
True.
Yeah,
that is true.
An actual plantation going back and giving reparations, you did it. You be famous in a different way.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Then everybody drink the beer, April. Well,
yeah,
everybody there.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
We just need them to do a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Stop being lazy out there.
True.
I made my chest hurt.
Talk about this kombucha. Tell me about this. Tell me about the kombucha sound. Black and ethnic as a motherfucker. Tell me about the kombucha.
Yeah, so I love sorrel. I used to date a guy that was Guyanese, and I loved sorrel. Like when I got introduced to it, I was like, "This is so good."
What is this? What is sorrel?
Kombucha.
Sorrel is a
type of kombucha
drink. It's a hibiscus drink that a lot of Caribbeans drink for holidays.
Okay. Is it alcoholic? Is it already?
It can be alcoholic. Usually it's not, but I think it can be.
Mm-hmm.
They have made alcoholic sorrel that you can buy, but it's like a hibiscus, cinnamon, cardamom kind of tea.
Definitely holiday.
To like a kombucha would be really cool. So give people when they come to the brewery 2 options:
yes,
beer or kombucha. And they both be hard.
Okay, so
like
that'll be alcoholic.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah.
You know people, like your ideas are so crazy. Like I want to make an okra and tomato beer.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
That is some Negro.
Yes, the palate is hefty with this lady. I love her palate.
Like a muscadine grape sour or something.
What now?
Muscadine grape. You know what that is?
Is that like Manischewitz?
Oh, I don't know what Manischewitz.
Oh yeah, the ones you got to peel, like the grapes you got to peel.
Yeah, like
and they actually still have the seeds in. They still have seeds in them.
You gotta like bite them to squish out the
seeds.
Grape.
Yeah. Okay.
The skin is like super thick. Like you can't
eat it. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yes. So how many recipes you got in your book?
I don't have a book. It's all in my brain.
Oh shit.
Wow, you're really smart, huh? Just keep them in there.
Yeah, I keep them in there, and then I go to my friend Paul, and we sit down, and I'm like, "This is what I want to do," and he's like, "Oh God, oh God."
And then he tastes it, and he's like, "Well, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't as bad as I thought." Okra tomatoes sound crazy, girl. That sounds nuts.
Horrible is what it sounds like.
I wasn't gonna say horrible. I'm gonna taste it first.
I want
to taste it first.
Now I still would taste it. I would try
it. But you're going in with the horrible thoughts.
Going with the thoughts, like, and I like okra and I like tomatoes.
I don't like okra.
I don't like okra.
See, I don't like hot tomatoes. I don't like hot tomatoes at all. If it's cooked hot tomato, stewed tomato, no.
Oh man, you crazy? Okra and tomatoes over some rice, yummy.
Man, I am gagging. Ugh.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. But I just don't. As putting that in a beer.
What style is this?
I don't even know.
That style is. It's gonna have to create its own lane. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People be putting basil and hibiscus.
Yeah,
and
that's
beets.
Yeah, so it'd have to be like
beets.
a blonde ale, something very basic.
Probably something. Yeah,
like a summer springtime.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a Labor Day. You watch a firework or have a sparkler in your hand. Type of have the citronella candles out. It's like one of them type of. It's like a 4%er.
Yeah, something light, something
tomato and okra.
Quirky.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let me know how that works.
Well, like
I want you to. So tomato okra sound real southern. So make like a beef and broccoli for up northerners.
Oh.
It don't gotta taste like that. Just like a. I'm trying to think of what would a okra and tomato.
That is country. That is really country.
Yeah, like what would a city version of okra and tomatoes be? That's why I said beef and broccoli. I wasn't necessarily saying the flavors of beer. Okay. Because I don't want that in my beer. Let's be clear. I don't want that in my beer. I don't even want that on my plate. I don't like beef and broccoli at all. So I'm just trying to figure out something that's city and northern.
It's not as country.
That's not that would be an equivalent. That could be the cousin. Your up north cousin.
Yeah, there you go. Like a hominy or something up there. Don't you want hominy or oatmeal or whatever?
I eat grits all the time. I don't care where I'm at.
Okay.
You don't care where you at.
I could be in the south, be in the west, I could be in the east. I'm gonna eat some grits. They delicious.
I love grits.
God, me too. That's stupid. Well, so because we're gonna wrap up, but I just need to know, like, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you wanna?
I like how you gonna incorporate this question every week now. You should.
Because you know why? Because you know how it's time to go, and I'll be like, "Wait, I got a question."
Right.
So instead, I'm gonna just say,
"That's true."
I don't know. I think you've asked me pretty much everything that I can think of. Yeah.
You got beers on the way.
Beers on the way.
You got dreams of opening your own brewery. Your community brew is a consultation. Fix your brewery business.
So besides the beers coming up, do you have any events coming up that you'll be involved in?
So next Wednesday we are having a Brewster event. So Brewsters are women brewers. Women are made beer. That's kind of was our thing, and then the men took it because we were making money off of it. But I brewed a dark cherry sour for the event. I had a Brewster day where I invited. It was supposed to be only for women, but I invited anybody that wanted to learn how to brew professionally. Come out and learn to brew. We had about 3 or 4 people come. I was on a Saturday morning. It was early, 8:00. I wasn't even half awake. And we brewed a dark cherry sour, which comes out next Wednesday. So that's gonna be really fun.
Nice.
It's like almost the color of a porter, but it's like cherry forward. And I used I don't know if you've ever cocktail cherries, not like maraschino, but the cocktail cherries that are like really
yeah.
That syrup in the beer.
Okay.
Second fermentation, so it's a little sweet and tart at the same time. So it's really good.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like.
Nice.
That sounds good. Remember black cherry soda back in the day?
Oh
yeah.
Nobody like the major companies never made black cherry. It was always like the store brand,
like Shasta or whatever.
Shasta, wow. Damn. Shasta black cherry though was the shit. It was a white can with purple letters.
Yes.
Yep. So
but anything else about Community Brew, about you in general that you want us to know, that you want the people out there to know?
Yeah, I mean, we're just a nonprofit trying to shake things up, and get more people of color into the tap room. I feel like we belong there as just as much as anybody else, and beer is so good, and it's such a family event. I feel like breweries have become like these family places where people bring their kids and all this kind of stuff, and
kids and
have
dogs,
a good time. Dogs, all that good stuff. So we're just trying to get more representation out there, more inclusion. There's lots of people trying to get more diversity and inclusion into the tap room. I'm just one of the peons that are trying to do it as well. So.
Okay, I heard that.
Well, good luck. Congratulations. We're here to help.
Congratulations on everything you have gotten done so far. You've been doing pretty good for yourself. So,
and it's been moving really fast.
Yeah.
Fast. Who knows what's going to happen this time, 2023?
Right. She already talked about.
Sold out of Charleston Wine and Food Fest, which is a big festival here that brings over 20,000 people. Doing a bar crawl and part of Hip Hop Day Party. And
I just said, what else you got going on? You said nothing. And now you saying,
no, I keep forgetting about Charleston Food and Wine. People are like, April, you didn't tell me that you had an event. And I was like,
wait, so when's that?
So Charleston Food and Wine is March 2nd through the 5th. It's a big Charleston food festival. It's wine, food.
I'm about to put that on my list.
You gotta put that on the calendar, man.
It's super fun. Like there's top chefs, there's James Beard Award people nominations, big things coming out. And I did a bar crawl where basically we're going to 4 to 5 different breweries, and we're pairing beer with wings. So every beer will have a different wing choice.
What?
And this is during that March event, the March event.
Yeah, and I sold out of my event the first day.
Oh, so I can't even go. This is 2023. Mm-hmm. So if I come, hold up,
tell me that there's no space.
I don't get no backstage passes or nothing.
Right.
I mean, I get backstage.
I let you get on my I let you get on my podcast though. Like,
right. Delete this episode immediately.
It's deleted. Don't even worry about it. Look, I'll find the board for that.
If they ain't watching it live, they ain't gonna watch it on here. Nope.
Sorry. Sorry. I was gonna tell you this come out on Tuesday, but I ain't. Nah, that's great though. It's sold out already because March ain't for like 4 or 5 more months. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really good. I still want to go though. If I can get to Charleston, I want to go.
Right.
To the bar crawl.
But I know. What if I just follow y'all? Like,
right? What if we Uber behind?
Right.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Is it like a party bus?
There is gonna be a bus.
So since you sold out so quickly, don't you think that maybe you should get like a second bus?
I mean, I don't make those decisions, but I can also always ask.
Yeah, just ask.
Yeah, because what if more people want to go? Like,
yeah. And if the bus don't sell out, you can just cancel them tickets.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I'm sure you could find 20 more people. You found 4. Sure. You just found at least 2.
Yeah,
maybe 3.
Right,
maybe 4.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, but either way, I wouldn't mind going to Charleston for the
just the food. The food in general sounds great.
Wine. Yeah,
and I'm sure you'll have like 13 different collaborations beers going through there, huh?
Yeah, lots of collaborations.
I know.
So
that's gonna be good.
And this isn't the first year that they had this, right?
No, they've had this for many years.
Okay, but is this your first bar crawl?
This is my first bar crawl. This is my second time being talent.
Okay.
And is it the community brew or is it an April event?
The community brew.
Okay. Cool.
So if I wanted, because the community brew is a nonprofit, if I wanted to donate to your nonprofit, like what would I need to do?
Yeah, so we're on Venmo and we're on Cash App. And you can donate through there. Just look up the community brew and we'll come up and you can donate to that. And we always accept donations. We're working on scholarships right now. I've got 3 scholarships for a certified beer server exam. I just need to make up the questionnaires to send out to people to see who's interested. And then we will get scholarships going for people that want to learn more about beer. So
okay,
exciting.
And heads up to you, April. Like next time somebody asks you, is there anything else that you want to tell us that?
Have it be ready. Be ready.
All this shit that came up afterwards.
We've been talking for 15 extra minutes.
Oh, I know. I'm getting better at it. People are like, you need to promote yourself more. And I'm like,
yeah,
I am. And they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, that bar crawl, even though you sold out the bar crawl, like the fact that you sold out the bar crawl that's big.
I didn't even know. People texted me, were like, how do you feel about your sold out event? And I was like, what event am I doing?
Yeah, see?
They're like, what?
No, you so busy and humble, like you don't even know when you.
I don't even know. That's the thing. And people like laugh at me. They're like, you're so gullible. And I'm like, but like I don't think of it as like this big thing. Like I'm just April. I'm just doing.
Yeah, but see,
you at
the point where you have to though.
Yeah,
you have to look at it differently because you're doing big things.
Like when you said you wake up and you're like, people are going to be drinking my beer today, or people are going to be coming to party with me because of my release today. Like everything that you do around beer in your state is monumental. It's historic because because not only you're the first and the first black woman to do these things, but you're actually doing more than just brewing the beer or working in a brewery. Like you're not being selfish with it. You're being intentional to, for all intents and purposes, bring your community with you. Right. You know what I mean? Like you're bringing your community to the brew and making us a part of it.
Yeah. And a lot of, it's funny because I was saying like, you don't get a lot of people at my events or whatever, but this next year I'm focusing on bringing the events to them. So going to where they are and having like setting up a table and being like a pop-up and being like, hey, chase this beer,
Or like this is I can't think of any black gathering at right now other than church. But like after church, you just have like a beer set up. Like I know you shouldn't do that, especially in South Carolina. That they probably wouldn't go over too well. But you know what I mean? Like have a black event, like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't fucking know who.
There's a lot of black-owned businesses here.
Yeah, it's like homecomings, like all that stuff. Yeah, black-owned business.
And then the other thing is like an event that I thought about to get back black people in the beer is probably brunch. Because niggas love brunch. I don't know what the hell it is about brunch.
I don't know what it is either, but waking up late and eating right away is crazy and exciting to them.
People love it.
But if you could find like a beer, a brunch cocktail, like a beer cocktail, that you could
or
make that okra and tomato sweeter, and it'll mimosa up.
Yo, that'd be like a like what's the joint with the tomatoes in it? The drink.
What's the drink? Bloody Mary.
A Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
It gets you.
Or that. Remember we were saying the watermelon with the mustard and the salt earlier on, the sour. That'd be a good brunch. Flavor. I will drink it.
Yeah, I think we're taking this coffee beer that I have and putting it in a ice machine and making frappuccinos out of it.
Oh,
there you go.
Wouldn't that be so cool? It's gonna taste so good.
Yes. I can't wait to talk to you off air.
I wonder if you do. Yeah, I won't ask that now.
That's all fair question too.
You said that, yeah, I'm not gonna ask that.
Then April, I guess we're done here.
Because if I'm not gonna ask that question. Yeah, but you stupid.
Yoda, do you have any more questions?
Yes. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Where are you guys?
In Delaware.
Oh, we're at in Delaware.
All over.
Yeah, it's 4 of us. So Yoda lives in Newcastle, Delaware. I live in Claymont, Delaware. Okay. Rob lives in Wilmington, and Dev lives in Middletown.
Yeah, so we
all within the same county. Delaware is small and has 3 counties. We all live in the same one.
Yeah, I live in Dover. So.
Oh yeah, that's not the county we live in, but that's close. That's still like 45 minutes from you, Yoda?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is right by the racetracks. So.
Yep. It is. We've been to them races. Yep, for sure. Oh, look at that. See, they'll be knowing us, man.
Right.
People act like they don't know where Delaware is at, man. They throw all these things at.
Yeah.
At least she ain't saying ain't no black people there. Her uncle there.
That's what I thought she was
her uncle there. I done seen y'all. I seen y'all at the mall.
Very Amish community, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, some Amish people down there. For sure.
Yeah, definitely Amish.
Yeah, because a lot of people normally say, oh, black people live in Delaware.
Yeah. We go to beer fest out of town, and that's the first thing. I didn't know that black. I'm like, you talking to them, so don't say that anymore. you're talking to the black people from Delaware,
and we're not even. We're like negative percentage of the.
When I was traveling there, I met some girls from Illinois, and I was like, "There's black people in Illinois."
Wow! Like Chicago's in Illinois.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? I'm not good at geography. Like something I'll be traveling, and I'll be like, "What state am I in?"
How are you a traveling nurse that drove all across the country in a year? In 10 years,
rather. Knew, like half the time where I was like, "What state am I in again?"
GPS. You could not have done this in the 80s. You could not have done this in the 80s.
No way.
This GPS for sure. Good Lord. She's like, I just punch in the address and say 13 hours. I'm like, I'll be there in 13 hours.
Yeah. Don't know where I'm at.
Driving from Illinois somewhere near Chicago, I think.
Is Chicago the state or is Illinois the city? That's what I'd be like.
Oh my goodness. Stop. Just don't say any more about geography, bro.
See, like they got great stuff here in Illinois. Ma'am, you are in Milwaukee. What do you mean?
It's like, what city is Milwaukee in? Girl. Your expertise is beer and nursing,
right,
and bringing the people together.
Nothing else.
Not mapping. You are not a mapper.
No, don't ever let me have a map. Like I was going to go on Amazing Race, but my boyfriend at the time was like, "You don't even know what state."
We get lost. We get lost. Like, Amazing Race. Why do you want to go on Amazing Race? You're a survivor. You're a survivor contestant. Y'all stay centered and local. Y'all don't move around.
American Race is not your thing. Like
no. You will be lost. Be somewhere in Tallahassee. Y'all supposed to be in New Mexico. I don't know why I keep saying New Mexico. I need to go to New Mexico.
Maybe.
I think so. I wonder how much them flights. I never met nobody from New Mexico.
Me either. All right, but we do definitely appreciate you coming on the show. We normally would give you claps, so we're gonna give you those golf claps again.
Yeah,
because we'll add the sound effects.
But it's still the same energy. It's still the same energy.
Still the same energy
for sure.
It's definitely still the same energy. So we don't need all that, but it's fine.
But if there's you said where we could support, is there any way that they can follow you or get in contact with you besides the actual supporting financially?
Yeah, at the Community Brew. Just follow us, send me a message. I'm always open to talking to people. I talk to people all day on the community Instagram page. That'd be great. Just follow me on there. You can follow me on the Traveling Hoptista, which is HOPTISTA. So
Are you still doing the flights and pairings and things?
I am.
Yeah.
Yep, a lot of big corporate businesses want me to do that, so I try to do that as much as I can.
Oh, that's nice.
That's good. I ain't no free shit there.
Yo, you see what
I like that. We gotta start getting in these corporate meetings.
Yo, and then her, like she's getting on my nerves with all this extra shit, right? But trying to make it I don't do much, you know.
The podcast shouldn't be 2.5 hours, but she just throwing these little tidbits because I would love to talk about how you get these corporate guys to Jeez, you about to throw your own festival.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the next goal, is to have a festival.
See, look at that. Look at that. You just throw something out there. She's like, yep, I'm doing that too. You don't got no plans. You just thought you out here. Go ahead, girl. I ain't mad. I'm proud of you. That's awesome, man. I'm really that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely.
It is.
Truly.
Lou.
Yes.
How can people find you, buddy?
Oh, thank you for asking. I appreciate you. My name is Lou Belgium, as you guys see, and here you can find me on them Instagrams.
See in here.
Because it was funny because I listened to I wasn't on the last podcast, so I try to listen when I'm not there. So I listened to the last one. I was like, y'all was doing things that I can't see. Like I'm listening, and I'm like, oh man, I need to be watching the YouTube version of this to see. Like it's weird.
That's purposely done.
Yeah, I understand.
I do it on purpose.
I understand.
But either way, you can find Brews and Banter podcast on every platform. I don't know how to do it like Rob does. Rob,
you can't do it.
Brews and Banter podcast on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you find other podcasts.
There you go. Stitchers.
Yep.
Spotify.
You
can say Amazon Play, Google,
Alexa,
or Google Play, Alexa. No. Play the Brews and Banter podcast on any of your apps that you talk to in your house, and they gonna play that shit because we on iHeartRadio too. We on all that shit. That sounds just like Rob. And you can find Rob at Rob Stay Bruising. You can find 302 Yoda at IM302 YODA.
Oh my God.
Denver's Craft Brew. You can email him. He'll get all your emails. He may respond. He may not. Until next time, everyone. Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Have a
music
good week,
out.
Everyone.
Music out.
Boom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, boom, ba-doom. I got a bump on the ear. And we can do this as long as we want because it's our music.
You guys have a great week out there. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
We'll talk to you next time.
Peace.